Hey, what's up, everybody? It's your boys Nate and X here from Decoding the Static. X, what's good? How you doing, brother?
What's good, big dog? I am good. I'm blessed, highly favored. Happy to be here for another
Hmm.
episode of Decoding the Static. We got episode 4,
That's
Seize
right.
the Day. What we talking about, Nate?
Well, listen, man. Today we gonna help everybody out there who wakes up every morning and decode why they wake up to do what they do and for how long they've been doing it. We gonna make sure that we give them what they need to seize the day. Right? No more, being afraid to make moves, no more being afraid of failure, or no more being afraid of taking risks. But we are going to help you seize the day and better yourself. And that's what we're going to do. So, as we're getting into it, of course, we got a lot of stuff in store for y'all today. By the way, I hope y'all love the new layout and everything. So, we're moving up in the world. So, listen, give us a like and a follow as always. We do this for y'all. We do this for the people. Me and X work tirelessly around the clock to make sure that the content that we bring y'all is definitely edifying, that is inspiring, and that it gives you the tools you need to decode the static.
Static.
So we're gonna jump into it. Definitely first, let me ask you this, X. What is when we talk about season the day? What does that mean to you? Like when you wake up in the morning, like how does that look to you? How do you seize the day?
When I think about seizing a day, I think of one word: intentional. And what I mean by that
Yes.
is everything that I do from the time I wake up. I read my affirmations in the morning. If I get up before my children get up, I'm in their rooms giving them kisses and hugs. I'm praying with them. I'm talking to my wife. Like, that's a great way to start my day off. Before I even get my first cup of coffee, I acknowledge my family. I thank God for waking me up in the morning. I just try to be intentional with everything that I do. And, because back then it was, I wake up, look at my phone, go on Twitter, go on Instagram, go on all these different apps. And, you know, I wasn't really living in the purpose of the way I'm supposed to be living. And now that I have changed all that, man, it's been a super blessing for me. And it wasn't always like that, Nate. I'll tell you that for sure. It was not always like that. This was something that recently just happened not too long ago in my life. But season a day, man, is just all about just trying to be the best version of myself, you know,
Amen to that.
and yeah, just being the best version of yourself. I always say a subtraction is an addition, to me. So just trying to just keep all the negativity out, feeding my mind, feeding my body positively. Those are great ways to seize the day, especially in the beginning, because I feel like if you start off good, you'll finish good. You know what I mean? What about you?
For me, season the day is all about, like you said, yeah, being intentional. Um, Having what some people call a kill list or a hit list, but we ain't talking about people or nothing like that, not doing harm. But I got these goals. I got mini goals, little milestones I'm trying to kill today. Whether that's work out for an hour, whether that's try to play with my son, whether it's doing homework, things like that. But really, is just to capitalize on my time. And look at that, we still talk about time, right? Because that was the last episode, and here we still talking about time. But it does wrap into it. It's using that time wisely, and it's capitalizing on it, so that way I get the most out of my day, and I can go to bed at night being like, man, I accomplished a lot. And just like you, I'm new on that journey too, man. Of course, being transparent, being, of course, laid off and haven't been working, it was an adjustment. But I told myself what I'm not going to do is just sit around every day. Hey, I'm going to try to invest in me every day. So whether that's doing readings, whether that's praying more and getting in the atmosphere of prayer, or whether it was just since looking into other things like schooling, which right now I'm in school. I'm a student.
Congratulations.
So yeah, thank you, man. So I mean, and all this just came about, you know, just by seizing every day, you know, refusing to sit down in my doom and gloom and say, man, you know what I'm saying, money ain't coming in, this and that. But I'm waking up every day saying, okay, Lord, I'm in this situation, but what is there for me to learn today out of this situation? How am I
Mhm.
going to get the best out of this situation? We learn more from our losses than we do our victories. And I think I said that even last week too. But I'm saying it again because it does apply to seize the day. The seize the day, it means to be fearless. You're gonna have to take risk. You're gonna have to fight some battles that maybe you were afraid of. But in the end, you will come out victorious, win or loss in that battle, but you will still be victorious. Why? Because you stepped to it. It's like, say you were trying to conquer doing this workout and you always tapped out on the second rep and you told yourself, hey, tomorrow I'm gonna hit it. I'm gonna go 4 reps
Mhm.
you know. But guess what? It takes you a week to get there. At that week, you don't feel like, man, I did it. I did it finally. I did 4 full reps and I didn't stop until I got that fourth rep in. That feeling is so amazing. And you're gonna feel like you just conquered the world in doing that. So season the day is much more than what they say when they even say carpe diem, but it's basically being intentional and getting the most out of it, being fearless, not afraid to fail, and
Mhm.
standing toe to toe with every opposition. And that's what I call it.
Yeah.
So I got a question for you, X, definitely too. Um,
Far away.
what about the people? What about the people who they work a 9 to 5 and they got to get up every day and it's just that same pattern of working that 9 to 5, maybe at a job that they don't like, or maybe they're okay with it but they're just doing it to get by. What is your take? What do you how can you tell somebody like that who says, I want better for my life, like I wish I could do this, I wish I could do that, but I'm always working or I got the kids. What advice do you give somebody like that who is unable to seize the day like we are?
If there's a will, there is a way.
Wait,
You just have to have the will to act upon it.
amen.
Also, I also believe in the theory of if I can see someone else do it, then I can believe that I can do it as well. I've always believed
Yes.
in that. Like, oh, well, this young lady has 3 kids. She's a single mother and she works full time and she's taking classes up at the community college. You know what I mean? Some you have to get tired. You have to get sick and tired of being tired. That's what it
Yes.
comes down to. You have to be so just annoyed and frustrated and just unhappy with your circumstance to where, because like we say, what does it take for you to go through for you to leave a situation you don't want to be in at work or your circumstances or whatever like
What's
that?
your why?
Yeah. What is your why? I would tell that person, are you happy? Because first things first, you have to be real with yourself. You don't have to prove anything to me. You have to talk to the man in the mirror. That's
Amen.
the person that you're battling with this situation. So I
Hmm.
would I would ask you, are you happy where you're at in life?
Mm.
And what's that predicated on? You can get here. It may take you a couple of things. You might have to go through some hoops. You may have to go through some obstacles, but the goal can be done. The dream can is still alive. It's just all upon that person to get it done, you know. So once you realize that, hey, I'm not happy where I'm at, then you have to set forth a plan in place.
Yeah.
Like I always tell you, man, faith without works is dead. You can have all the faith in the world, but now it's
Gotta.
time to implement that, do the legwork.
Yes,
You know what I mean?
you
And
gotta move forward.
you can't, because one thing I don't understand is how people will complain and complain, but don't put no effort into doing something about it. You can
Yes,
talk
you
until you're
have to.
blue in the face, but if you don't put any work behind it, nothing is going to get done. And I believe wholeheartedly, like people get the job done when they do what they need to do. You know what I mean? So
Yes, 100%.
if you're somebody out there that's going through something, I would say you need to change your circumstances and don't be afraid to do that. If you feel like you got too much on your plate, just know that there's always somebody with more and still
That's
was
right.
able to do what you're talking about you can't
That's
do.
right.
You can do it. If you don't, I don't care how much you feel like you got on your plate. You have to find a way, because if you think about it like this, what's the alternative?
Hmm.
What's the alternative? You already know where you're
What's the
at.
It's the
So
same
what do
thing
you have to
every
lose?
day.
You have nothing to lose. You're going to wake up every single day living a life that you don't want to live. So why not do something about it? Even if you feel uncomfortable about
Yeah,
how to get through that process, you're still going to have to do what you got. I mean, you're still going to go through what you're going through regardless. So why not change something about it? But this goes, like I said, we always talk about time. This goes back to time.
it
You think
does.
you got all the time in the world and you don't take
You
that time
don't.
seriously to
Hmm.
go and be comfortable for about 2 years. Oh, I don't feel like getting up and having to study and do exams, or I don't feel like having to fill
Nah,
out these applications and this and that. Okay, well, go ahead and sit there and be uncomfortable like you've been doing for the last 5 years. Or
that's right.
put your big boy pants on and go do what you got to do. So I think it
Mm.
really comes down to mindset, Nate. It's mind
Yes,
over
it
matter.
does.
And
Yes.
like I said last week, it's the things that people do in the dark. What'd you say? Like ninjas move in the dark, move in silence.
Yeah, man.
It's
Move in
the
silence. Yes, sir.
it's the things that people do that you don't see is why they're able
Hmm.
to make these types of moves. Because then while you're on the sideline looking at the people in the game, they're making moves out there. And you're like, oh
Yeah.
man, I wish I could be where that person's at. It doesn't have to be a wish. It's just a mindset. You just got to
Amen.
do you just got to do the same thing they did.
You're right.
So I would tell people, who are looking to seize that day and things that they would have to change, I would have to say you just got to be real with yourself, and you have to just do the legwork, make the moves, and also believe that you can get there. Because I think a lot of this comes down to your faith level or your belief level of not being able to accomplish the things you really want in life.
Mm.
So now
Confident.
I asked you two questions, Nate.
Let's
Do
go.
you know your worth? And is the things you want in life worth, what is that worth to you? That's what you have
Well,
to ask yourself.
mm, that's the thing too. I think that you definitely do have to know your worth. Um, because here's the thing: if you don't know your worth, people will always take advantage of you. People will always give you less than what you're worth. When you know your worth and you know who you are, it challenges people to act different around you. Now, we've all heard that statement like birds of a feather flock together. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? And I feel like you're either going to be two things. You're either going to be, and this is what my mother used to say sometimes, listen, you're either going to be a chicken or you're going to be an eagle at the end of the day.
Uh-oh.
And me, I'm going to be an eagle. You got to know that you are meant for better. You have to know that there is a purpose for your life, that you weren't just put here just to work and die, but you were put here for a grand purpose. And I think that so many people have what the church would call a spirit of inadequacy, where they feel like they're inadequate. They don't
Mhm.
feel like they measure up. And what people don't understand is that some of the greatest people in history that have been difference makers, who have left a mark on this country, on the culture, or whatever, they were people who weren't, if you look at them at face value, they weren't the best of the best. They were at the bottom. They were castaway, or they had some kind of disability that you didn't know that they had. But because of them knowing their worth, they were able to appear like giants to us. They were able
Mhm.
to appear like larger than life. And that's the difference between, you know, when you look at a motivational speaker who has no arms, has no legs, but he's traveling the world and people are paying money to sit down and listen to what he has to say. That's somebody who knows their worth.
Mhm.
To that's insane. But to me, that is somebody who is operating on a level that is far beyond their purpose, but they've hit it out the park. We all have the potential to do that, and it we don't have to come up from a bad background, or um we don't have to, have all these degrees or whatever. Now, don't get me wrong. Now, it is good to pour into ourselves. It is
Yeah.
good to educate ourselves and pour into us. So I'm not saying that we don't need to, but what I'm saying is that we cannot measure potential based on that solely, because it's if it's in you, it's in you, and it's in all of us.
Yeah.
But I think that there has to be something that clicks, that wakes you up. And once that thing clicks, that wakes you up, that says, I know my purpose, everything from then go is out the window. Everything and from then changes, because you live every day to accomplish that purpose. To the kid who wants to be in the NBA so bad, think about it. He lives his purpose out. He wants to be on his high school basketball team, because he understands that if he is among the best of the best, just like what you said, he's heard the story about many others who were drafted from high school. So his whole thing is like, if I can get drafted from high school, I'm good.
Mhm.
So he's while his friends or his counterparts are probably playing video games, this dude is out here playing ball every day. Even at night, he's out here working on his game. He's taking it seriously, because in his mind, he's like, I'm getting in that draft pick. I'm getting in that first round draft pick, right? He's pushing towards that goal, and then boom, he makes it happen. It doesn't mean that the other people on his team didn't have the potential. It just means that he knew his purpose and he worked hard for it.
Yep. And that's
So
you got to be sold out, man.
you do.
You got to be
You
sold
gotta
out.
be locked in and know and know your why, and know why you're doing what you're doing. And I think too that when you love something, when you truly love something and you have a passion for something, you're going to excel way further than if you're
Mhm.
just doing it just to do it. And I think a lot of us today, we do things just to do it. And we really don't do things that are worth our time. But we do it just because, hey, I'm good at it, so why not? I'm
Yeah.
good at computers, so I might as well do it. No. But what do you really love to do? Well, I love helping people. Well, have you thought about going into this field where you can help people? Have you thought about this where you can help people? Because you can be good at something, but it doesn't mean that you have a passion for it.
Right. That is true. I think self-development is another thing. I give it back to every episode. My wife, this woman went to school for X amount of years to become a doctor. And then all of a sudden, she gets out of school and picks up a business. And me, I'm like, whoa, wait a minute. Like, you just got a whole PhD. And what's this whole like? Now she's in the office for like hours. Oh, I'm working on my self development. I'm working on my self development. That's what I mean by drive.
Mm,
You know,
mm.
you had somebody who is a whole doctor and wasn't even satisfied with that because her aspirations was to take care of her entire family, not just her immediate family, her entire family. And she
It's a
knew that
passion.
more money was going to be needed for that. So she decides to get with a company where she can make residual income. And me, I'm thinking so short sighted. I'm thinking, oh, you got a PhD, you good, you know. And she's like, no, no, no. Yeah, we might be good, but I'm thinking about my whole entire family. And I was just like, oh, okay. So she would be in the office reading scripts and stuff. And I was like, what is this thing you're doing that you be in the office all the time? She's like, oh, it's self development. And I was like, self development? She's like, yeah, I'm in the office self developing myself,
Mhm.
how to be a better person. And it takes a level of drive. It takes a level of commitment. It take, like you said, a larger than life person to, you know, Nate, I say today, Nate, I'm gonna pay you 150,000 a year. And but I'm gonna also give you an option to pick up another job. Some people, most people will be like, "Oh, I'm cool with the 150 right here." But people like her is like, well, how much can I make over here too? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
those people who never settle, those people who always thinking about the bigger picture and wanting more
Yes.
and wanting to be
Oh,
the best version of themselves. And
I'm
it's
big
like,
picture.
yeah, it's like, how do you like you're like, no, I don't just want one marble. I want all the marbles. You know what I
You
mean?
gotta look at big picture. That is
You
so
want
important.
yeah, you want to be big picture. And I think it just comes down to mindset, man. Like you said,
Yes.
being passionate about what you want out of life and having a mindset to go get it. And a lot of times we get lazy. And especially in 2025, I think we're just really just more distracted, if anything. There's
Oh
a
yeah.
lot of distractions in this world right now where people just can't stay focused on one thing. You know, I've seen
Yeah.
somebody have a YouTube video on and they're on their phone watching another video. And I'm like, well, wow, okay. like
Like
like is it
it's
that
amazing.
crucial?
And listen, and I think you're right. We are distracted. Our attention span, we're desensitized. I think it's all the above at this point. But I think that the the necessity for just getting by the week to week, the day to day, I think that that is the short sight that we're at. People can't see beyond the week to week. They can't see beyond they're not seeing the bigger picture. They're just looking at, okay, all I need to know is I need to make it to next week because next week I get this next paycheck, and then guess what? Boom, then I'll be able to take care of this, and then I'll be good. And that when we get into that rut, it's so hard to get out of, and it's something that's even the reason why. Again, that's the reason why I said I'm going back to school because I can't keep you know going to jobs and putting in hours and hours and hours of my time, getting this award, getting that award, and never being appreciated for what my value is. And for me to keep going from job to job and say, you know what, one of these days I'm gonna find the right job that's gonna appreciate me for me, and I'm not building into myself. It's kind of like at some point I gotta stop and say, you know what, nah, I'm gonna up the game.
hmm
I'm a you. It's that whole they don't respect me. Okay, I'm gonna make them respect me. I'm gonna make them respect me. They may have denied me today, but wait until next year when they see me. They're gonna be begging me to come work for them.
hmm
You know, we have to have that mindset. We have to be vigilant. It has to be a bigger picture mindset. And then I like what you said about being never satisfied. And some people might say that you're going after the money, it's money hungry. But I think that if you're bettering yourself, there's nothing wrong with that at all. I don't think that's money hungry. I mean, I think it's better to better yourself and have that low effort but maximum input rather than working 3 jobs to get a lot of money. Because while
Quality
you're
of
working,
life.
yeah, what's your quality of life? When do you have time to spend with your family? When do you have time to do anything you love? You know, and I think that we what this lifestyle has taught us is that it's taught us to sacrifice, to put things on the sacrificial art of the sacrificial uh altar of, hey, I need to do what I need to do to get by. So that means that this dream has to go on the altar.
Mm,
Forget it. That means that me owning a business has to go on the altar. That means that me going back to school is on the altar because we have to pay attention to the here and now and just getting by. And that's not living life. That's just an endless cycle. And what happens is that when you get older and you're real old, you look back in your life and you're like, what did I accomplish? What did I do? Have you been, did I work all my life and all I have to show for it was a car and a house? Which
hmm
in some cases is good. I mean, at least you got something to show for it. But in another case, what do you really have to show for it? What is really, what did you get other than a body that is broken down from the years you spent giving of yourself to that system that wasn't giving back to you? Um, and when you look back, you see a charred altar, and you're seeing all your dreams on that altar of what could have been, of what should have been, and what you wish you could go back in time and say, man, if I wish I can go back in time, I would have opened up my own catering business like I wanted to.
Mm-mm. Don't leave no
But
stones unturned, man.
but we don't but the thing about it is we don't see this until it's too late. And that's why we have to seize the day, because the thing is that we're just working now. But when we get older, guess what? This body fails. This body gonna tap out on this.
Hmm
We were talking about it earlier. When you got basketball players and you got professional athletes that, yeah, they can do a lot of great things, but eventually that body taps out. That body says, I'm done. And
hmm
guess what? Now they can't do anything barely. And they look behind them and they're just like, well, it was good while it lasted. It was a great career. I'm glad I was able to do what I did. But imagine in them, they can retire and they can laugh because they got the cushion of their money. Or do they? There's some that go broke and some that don't have that cushion. But what says you and I? What says you and I who have worked, and when we get older, what do we say? What are we going to say looking back in life? Did I achieve? Did I go after all my dreams? Did I take risk? Was I afraid of failure? And those are regrets that I don't want. And last week we talked about it with time, but those are regrets that I don't want to want. And for me personally, I'm going to make sure that I try to attack everything from now. And I think that also the notion that, oh, I don't have enough time, or I'm too old, we got to throw that out the window. I've seen 80-year-olds who are ripped. I mean, ripped. And if I'm looking at them like, hey, if they're 80 years old and they're ripped, and they said 2 years ago they look completely different and they were in the hospital and they were this, then you know what? Shoot, I'm 40, I'm 43 years old. I can get ripped too.
Yep.
It's that mindset. So,
Yep. That is
um,
so true. I think it's
what?
just more of an excuse, though. That's the thing.
Yes,
We
that's
make
it.
excuses for things we think we can't achieve. And like I say, it's not so much, I think it's mindset, excuses, and a lot of times we ain't talk about this, but blaming your past for where you're at
Yes.
currently.
Yeah.
You blame your circumstances, where you're at currently.
Upbringings,
And
culture.
yeah,
Jesus.
upbringing and culture. You want to blame other people, for why you are where you are, when really you make your own decisions in your life. It's just you just got to get up one day and say, okay, I'm going to do this. Like you said, you feel like you have all the time in the world to do all this when you really don't. And it's like,
Mm,
okay, so if you're not happy where you're at now, why not change it? Why not make a sacrifice? You think you're gonna fail? Okay, well, fail. At least you failed it, because you
yeah.
tried. But I'll be doggone if I'm gonna live this whole life and it makes no sense. You got all this money on the table and you never spent it, and now you about to go to your grave. So
Mm,
you mean to tell me you had all this time to make yourself a better person and you decided not to because of being lazy, of fear, of a bad mindset, of an excuse. So now you just live life like, you know what I mean? Like that is just
mm,
insane that people would live that way, you know.
mm. So I got a question for you though.
Yeah.
I got a question for you, X, because this kind of ties into what we talked about on our second with peace also.
Mm,
And now we about to go deep.
great episode. Peace.
We about to go deep. Can money bring you happiness?
No. Money cannot bring you happiness. Money helps. Money can fix some things, but also in the same breath, I would say it depends on how you measure money in your life. Because, yeah, I can pay some debt off. I can clear some bills up. I can take my
Hmm.
wife out on a trip with my kids and this and
Absolutely.
that. Yeah, money helps, but I don't measure my happiness. I can't speak for everybody, but I don't measure my happiness with money. What makes me happy is my kids having a roof over their heads,
Ah,
clothes on their backs, food in their stomach.
perspective.
You know what I mean? It's
I
always about
like that.
perspective with me. From day one, it's been about perspective with me.
Yep.
Um, I always tell my wife, I'm like, if we're crying over a bill or something, I tell her I thank God that I have a bill to cry over because there are some people who wish they had a bill to cry over. I
Yeah.
tell my kids, when I see them
Oh
scraping
man.
the plates and I see 30% of food still on that plate, and I'm like, there are kids who their
Hmm.
stomachs are in their backs, and y'all are
Yeah.
just throwing away food like it's nothing, like it just comes like that.
Yeah.
And like
Yeah.
I say, I think it goes back to a level of appreciation that I
Yeah.
have for everything that I have because of, you know, my past and what I've been through. So I appreciate things a lot more. So no, I don't think money buys happiness. Money covers things up. Money, it's almost like you win in a basketball game. Nate got 30 points. Y'all won the game every game, but ain't nobody else scoring but Nate.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. Really.
we winning, but ain't
Oh
nobody
man.
happy.
Nope.
You know what
Nope.
I mean? So
And I think that's just it. I think that's the deeper key about it because your perspective on it. Because, and I want to make it clear because it has to be deeper than just running after the dollar signs too. Yes, it does help. Yes, it can help you in certain ways. It can soften the blow,
mhm,
so to speak. But I think the perspective of true happiness is knowing that and being appreciative of the fact that everything it goes back to what we said in peace where you're content and knowing that no matter what happens, God has you in his hands. that he is making provision for you. Now, to people that he is blessed with the large amounts, I don't think that there's anything wrong with that. I think that, God, hey, he wants us to be successful, and there's nothing wrong with that at all. But I think that if your if your drive at the end of the day is going to be is not in a is not taken from the perspective of, hey, I want to live comfortably, I want to better myself so I have better opportunities. Um, so that way I can really live in my purpose or do my passions, and you're just doing it for the dollar sign, so to speak, then that's where that circle of insanity keeps getting repeated, because then it's like you're never going to be satisfied. It's like you're always going to be looking to the next, or hey, the grass is greener on this side. And hey, like I heard a preacher say, and I mean that, boy, let me tell you, he said this, and I was like, I about died in my seat cracking up. But he said, a lot of people sometimes they think that the grass is greener on the other side. And really, and he said, oh, sure, it looks green until you go over there and you realize that they got a busted septic tank. And then you really realize what's going on. And I
Right.
said,
Yep.
God, dog, that's the truth,
Yep.
bro.
That is true. I heard that before.
That's that's the truth, bro.
That is
That
true.
busted, you can't see that busted septic tank over there. So everything was green, you
Hmm.
know. I
That's
mean,
funny.
and but it's the truth, man. So it's just like it can't, as they say in the song, more money, more problems. But I do believe that if your perspective if your perspective is shifted on the right things, then it doesn't bring you a life of problems. It can bring you a life of living and having wealth, not being rich, but having wealth. And what you measure as wealth, because some say that they want to be rich, and I mean, I just want to be wealthy. What is being wealthy? Being wealthy is have everything you need. It's having everything. It's to me, it's much more than just getting a good job. Me, it's striving to leave a mark. It's to do something extraordinary that maybe can change history, or change something for the culture, or can even inspire many other young kids to do something else. To me, that is to see lives change and to see people's hearts filled with joy, to inspire the masses. For me, that's the end game. For me, that's a great payment. You can't. That's a priceless moment that you can't put anything. To see, to set up something that when I'm old, I can leave it in my son's hands and say, hey, I started this whole production company, and now it's all yours.
Mm.
All you got to do is rule it with diligence and rule it with integrity. And I believe you can make it better than what I dreamed of it being. And then he does the same thing for his son and his
Yep.
son or his daughter. And it goes down the list and it goes down the list. So it's not like we're not just getting money for the sake of today, but we're trying to get that wealth for the family, so that way, hey, our family is set up. Our family is set up to go to a higher place. You'll be able to reach your goals and your dreams quicker, because you have a better access point than we did. And that's what all parents want to do,
Yep.
right? We
That's
want to
true.
set it up so that way our children, they have a quicker access point. They don't have to go through the turns and the whistles, and they don't have to do that,
Yep. You want every
um
generation to be better than the last.
yeah, it's like, hey, I had loans, but guess what, I put my work into something that now you can go to school and you won't have to worry about that,
So let me
because I
ask.
put something away for you. I have something put away so that way you can go to school, and we're paying that. And I think that
Right.
that is just a beautiful thing.
So let me ask you this: what would you consider a failure at the end of your life?
A failure?
Yeah,
Anything I didn't try.
that's a good answer.
Eh,
That's a good. That's a good answer.
Actually, dang, you
That's
wouldn't
a
have
good
found that
answer.
one good.
Yeah, I
You
didn't think
you
you was
got it
gonna go
right.
that quick with it, but that was that's like hitting all the right answers at the same time.
Well, no, I mean, because here's the thing. I mean, yeah, failure. The only time we fail is when we quit or we walk away.
That
Um,
is true because even if you don't get it right, you at least learn something.
that's right.
And I
A
feel like,
defeat.
yeah, you learned something from it. So you technically didn't fail. You actually gained something.
That's right.
That's
That's
true.
right. That's right. And that's the thing for me. That's why I'm at a stage in my life where I'm like, you know what? I want to challenge myself to do a lot of things because when I get older and I'm talking to my son, I want to be able to say, yeah, I tried that. I did that too.
Yeah, but why do we have to always wait till we get past 35 to finally be like, okay, I'm gonna do this and that? It's like when you get to past 35, you don't care no more what people think. You don't care about what
It's a whole
job
different,
situation. Like your mindset past 35 just shifts, and you're like, you know what? I'm living for me. I
yeah.
To hell with that job, to whatever with with people around me, family, friends. It's like that's when you lock in on your life, you know. Oh crap. So it's
Honestly,
like, why does
that's
that
a tough
happen
one.
later in life versus in your youth?
It's a tough one. I think part of the reason too is because we as young people, we tend to not we have to learn the hard way.
Yeah, that
we
is
we
true.
tend we tend not to listen to those who are ahead of us. We tend not to want to be coached. um
Like they ain't been through it before.
yeah, like, some of us have issues with authority. um we think that, some of us don't like the word submissive. And I think that sometimes culture it teaches that too. You shouldn't, you gotta speak up, you gotta be a man, you gotta do this. But my dad, it's like my dad always told me, it's like being a man is standing up and owning your actions or stepping up to the plate. You
Hmm.
know, um, it's not about uh trying to be hard or trying to this and that, but it's about owning when you are right and when you are wrong, stepping up to
Yep.
that plate. And I think that our youth today, they just, not even today, but I think that youth in general, they just have a mindset where they want to left it, they want to figure it out. And I mean, don't get me wrong, there's one side that says, well, they're young, they have to live their life, they have to figure it out, they have to, we did it, and here we are today, so they have to, everybody has their process, man, they have to do it. And then you got another side that's saying, no, they need to listen to us because we've been there before, we
Hmm.
can tell them.
We're
And I
trying to
find
save them.
myself, yeah. But and I mean, and if we look at the generations, we look at the generations to come. I mean, when I look at, even as a father, looking at the generations to come, I'm like, man, there's so much stuff that I want to instill in my son early. I don't want him to run wild and just be like, hey, he gonna figure it out, I'm gonna let him have fun. I want to instill stuff in him early
Yeah.
because I understand that the world isn't the same. And I think that's where we as adults, father figures, mentors, older brothers, have to realize that the world that we grew up in is not the same world that they're growing up into. um as we say in wrestling, wrestling today ain't like the attitude era that we grew up in, right?
Right.
Or check this. There's some wrestling heads that when they talk to us, they're like, shoot, the Attitude Era? Hey, let me take you back to the Federation days.
Oh Lord, not the WWF.
Right. like
The triple
Andre the
W.
Giant, all them kind of things. And then there's people from before then who are like, oh, I remember watching Bruno Sammartino. So you see where every generation they adapted something different, but every generation is so far beyond. They pushed the envelope. They did that, and they're supposed to do that. The next generation is supposed to take it a step further. But I've always said that the problem is that the next generation should never forsake the hands of those before them leading them.
Mm-hmm.
So there's I'm gonna put my Bible hat on.
Uh-oh.
So there's a scripture now. If you're familiar with the Bible, then you know about the children of Israel and their journey through the promised land and going through the wilderness and being in captivity and all these things like that. And I'm gonna share this point and then we're gonna get back to something because I wanna really tie it in. The children of Israel, there's a scripture, it's in um Jeez, I forgot the scripture, but it's a scripture that, yes, Judges chapter 2 in the 10th chapter, right? And the scripture goes like this. And up rose, and I'm paraphrasing, so any Bible heads out there, I don't go in the comments talking about some copy and pasting the scripture from
I got
Bible Gateway talking about some.
a he
Don't
said
fact
Bible
check
gateway.
me, okay?
I got a
Don't
different
fact
version.
check me. Yeah, don't be coming saying, man, that's not what it said.
King
Anyway,
James.
um, but it says that after this generation, another generation arose who knew not God, nor knew what their forefathers had went through. Meaning we have a whole new children of Israel on the scene who knew nothing about being enslaved in Egypt.
Mm-hmm.
They knew nothing about the Red Sea. They knew nothing about the walls of Jericho. They knew nothing about Jordan. They knew nothing about all the miracles that God had did for them. And they walked their own way. And because they walked their own way, they served idols and it caused them to lose their connection with God. Now
Wow.
let's tie it in.
All right, bring it home.
Let's tie it in. Here's the thing. This next generation at times when they forsake what we're trying to tell them, yeah, they're gonna be a new generation, but they're gonna grow up. And because they didn't heed our advice, they're gonna have tougher examples. They're gonna have tougher things that they're gonna experience, and they're not gonna see the fullness of life, in my opinion, like we did, or they won't be able to properly be guided. Now, I won't say all youth because for the most part, there's some youth out there that are doing some amazing things. They really are. They're doing some amazing things and shout out to them. And hey, if you're a youth out there who you're in your 20s and you got your head on right and you're doing what you need to do and you're going to school and you know your purpose, you know your why, shout out to you. Keep doing what you're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Don't let people talk you out of it. Don't let people sidetrack you or tell you what you need to do. You just believe that small voice in your head telling you who you should be. And you follow that still voice because believe me, the Lord is bringing you places.
Yes.
But to those who are neglecting the input for the next generation and you think that you know it all, that you can do it all, that we're outdated, that the same world we live in is not the same world you live in, guess what? Yes, you're absolutely correct. The world that we lived in is not the same world that you live in. As a matter of fact, you live in more dangerous times now, so you really need guidance more than we did because your times are more dangerous and there's more things out there to hurt you
Mm-hmm.
that could even take your life that we didn't have to deal with.
Especially like on a electronic type situations,
Oh man, I'm telling you, right?
social media and bullying and, just everything.
Just look at the numbers of how many kids have committed suicide over cyberbullying. I was bullied as a kid,
I
but
was
here
too.
I am, and guess what? Here we are.
Over
If
some
you were,
colors.
yep, yep, I was bullied. I even had somebody extorted money from me every single day.
Wow.
Let me tell you something. If you're watching this and you are bullied and you feel inadequate, let me tell you something. It ain't your fault, number one. It doesn't mean that you are weaker. It doesn't mean that you are weak by any means. That person probably sees a strength in you that you can't see in yourself. And
Hmm.
that's why they're taking advantage of you. And it will, and the only way it will stop is when you look in the mirror and you see the lion that is within you. You see the strength that you have. Then, when you see the strength that you have, I guarantee you the next time they try it, it's going to stop
Yep.
because you're going to realize that you're a different person. And that ties us back into you have to know your worth. These are lessons that you today don't have. Back in the day, me and X, okay, me and him could have been in school and say X is a clown and he liked to always joan me and he always liked to clown and talk about my hairline, all that kind of stuff in class. And me and him, all of a sudden, I want to fight X. So me and him throw hands for a little bit, and X is smaller, so he faster. So he hit me with the 2-piece, and I said, okay, all right, you got me.
And don't forget the biscuit.
Yeah, yeah. The biscuit, yeah.
My bad.
But check this out. 2 weeks later, me and X sitting down next to each other in the cafeteria, and we talking like nothing ever happened. Just like, yeah, man, it is what it is, man. Hey, man, but you got hands though. Like, yeah, oh, I know, I got hands, and we friends. The world that y'all live in today, you verbally put hands on somebody, and they're gonna come back and want to take your life because you verbally put hands on them and
Chitty
you
chitty bang bang.
embarrassed them in front of their crew, and they couldn't handle that, and they decided to do what? Come back and take your life. And
Well,
that's
yeah.
why you need guidance from an older, and this is why fathers in the home is such
Oh
an
man.
important thing. And this is a subject for another time. This is a deep subject for another time. And I know I just hit it, but this is the reason
Yeah.
why fathers, older brothers, uncles are so important because you need, and what I'm saying is that you need a father figure. You need somebody you can go to who's not going to tell you to rub dirt on it, but who's going to tell you the real advice of a man and just say, hey, man, just walk away. It ain't worth it. Yeah, you probably going to feel like they punked you, but you're going to walk away with your life.
Yep, which is more important.
And that's more important. Let them laugh because in weeks gone, they'll forget all about it.
And
And you will
usually
too.
a lot of the times it's something that they see deficiencies in themselves is
Yes.
why bullies bully people. They always want to pick on somebody smaller than them. They always want to
Yep.
pick on somebody who is not strong as them or who's not as who maybe smarter than them. It's something what's the word that you
That they're
use?
missing.
Insecurity.
Yeah.
There's something that
Insecurities.
they're
Absolutely.
insecure about with themselves. So what happens is they lash out to somebody who they feel is more inferior or weaker than them, because they can't, you know, figure out their own problems. You know,
Yep. True.
there could be something at home. There could be a dad at home that's beating on them, or telling him that something's wrong with him mentally, or he's stupid, or punching on him, or whatever the case may be. So he figures, let me channel that energy to somebody who's weaker, and the cycle continues. So, you know,
Anger. Yeah, dealing with anger.
yeah,
Yeah.
definitely.
Not able to deal with anger, cope with anger. And you see, these are all the things that young people, that's why you need the help from the next generation,
Hmm.
because we have we know what it's like to deal with anger. We know, and here's the thing, look at me and X, right? Two different upbringings. But I guarantee you one thing: if any of you had a problem and you messaged us and said, "This is what I'm going through," one of us is going to be able to say, "Hey, I got this," because, man, I dealt with this when I was a kid. There's always somebody out there who walked your shoes before. They know what you're going through. So you have to, it's good to seek help, and it's good to do that. And that's all I'll say for that. I don't want to get us too much. I know we deep dive into something else that probably is another topic, but I just wanted to really touch on that, because when we talk about, you know, seizing the day, a lot of the insecurities, a lot of the things that hold us back from seizing the day are things that do stem from our youth. There are things that did happen in our youth that basically they change and they manipulate our paradigms and our perspectives of life about what it should be or what it shouldn't be, right? And that's why we get stuck in a rut of doing the
Hmm.
same thing over and over again, because we never, just like what X said, we never saw anybody who came out of it differently.
Yeah, you put yourself in the rat race. It's usually what you call it, the rat race. Um,
Yep.
for a season today, I would say this: when you wake up, take a good look at your life and just ask yourself, is this where I want to be? I would basically grade myself every day and be like, okay, am I living in my purpose? Am I living in God's purpose? Is this for me? Is this what makes me happy? These are the questions you should ask yourself, almost like create like a rubric for yourself. And if it's not, something needs to change. You need to do something about that.
Yes.
If you go to that job and you sitting in the parking lot for 5-10 minutes because you just can't go in, something needs to change. If you're in a career that you're just not happy in, you might need to start looking at a different career. Something needs to change. If you're in a
Yes.
relationship and you're not happy in that relationship, and you know this guy doesn't make you happy, that woman doesn't make you happy, something needs to change. If you I would
Mm.
seek some kind of counseling, seek some kind of prayer, something, but something needs to change in your life, because doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result, is insane. It's insanity.
Insanity.
Is not Nothing good is going to come from that. And I feel like there's a lot of people who are walking this earth right now that are living lives enslaved in their own mind, enslaved in their own, everyday cycle. And it's like you think that this is just normal, and it becomes normal to you. But for some reason, you can't see that because you're inside the storm. Some of you guys need to come outside that storm and look at it and be like, oh, wow, that is me inside this storm.
Yes,
Because you have
absolutely.
people in your life who are looking at you like, baby girl, come out of this storm. Homeboy, come out of the storm, man. You don't deserve that. You're not supposed to go through this. This is not what life is supposed to be about. But if you just look at your life and you cherish it the way others cherish it for you, because I know there's a grandmother on bended knees right now. There's a mother that's
Yes.
praying for you right now, and is
Mhm.
saying, you don't deserve this. You don't have to go through this. Seize that day, make that day, plant that flag and say, okay, this is the day that I'm going to change my life, because I only get one shot at this opportunity to change my life. You don't have the next 40 years. You don't have the next 40 days. You don't know. You might not wake up tomorrow, but at least today you can make a change, you can start over, and you can take back the life that you deserve. If you're not going to do it for yourself, do it for your children. Do it.
Yes.
You and that goes back to knowing your why, knowing your purpose, knowing why you do things. It's just crazy how people will do the same thing every single day and accept that. You do not have to accept that. And that's what I wanted to tell you guys. You do not have to accept the life that you are living right now. And if you're a young person out there, you don't have to accept the cars that you're given. Go get you a new deck. That's what I would tell you.
There you go.
Forget those cars that life gave you. Go get you a brand new deck. That's what I did. I came off the from being homeless to where I'm at today. I didn't settle it. I didn't say, oh well, this is the hand that I was dealt, so this is how my life is supposed to be. No, I got down on bending knees. I had a grandmother that got down on bending knees and she prayed for me. And I said, you know what? At some point, things have to change. I look at my kids in their faces. If I can't afford a jacket, if I can't afford boots because they're cold, their shoes are getting too small, and like something has to change in your life, So my bad, Nate. I just got a little passionate about,
No,
just
continue. That's what
where I
it's.
was going, but I really, really be having a problem with when people complain about something and they don't do nothing about it. And then you act like you either don't deserve it or you're too lazy to make that change. I don't know what it is about that. Like you have to go to that job or you have to,
Mhm.
live in this house or like, no, you do not. You have a choice. If you are
Yes.
willing and able, if you're healthy, you
You
have
have a
a choice
choice.
to do whatever it is you want to do in life. So I'm going to challenge people out there today to make a change in their life. The people who are not happy, the people who are grumpy about life and not happy with
Hmm.
their circumstances, you're not happy with how much you're making, you're not happy where you live, you're not happy with what car you drive, you're not happy with what guy is in your life or woman that's in your life. Go change that situation and start living for yourself. And I promise you're gonna look back and you'll be like, wow,
Yep.
thank God for putting this in my life and on my mind because you don't deserve it. But do you know if you deserve it or not? Sometimes you don't know, the your worth, as we were saying. You don't know the worth that you have, upon yourself. But the day that you wake up and you say, you know what, I do deserve more, then maybe you'll start making that change. But until then,
Remember that.
nothing's gonna happen, because ain't nobody gonna do it for you.
Nope.
Ain't no fairy tale creature coming out of the sky to say we're gonna make everything all better for you. That's
Nope.
not how it works.
Nope.
You have to do the legwork. You have to pray about it, and you need to figure it out. I'm telling you, things will get
Mm.
better.
And you said something that I wanted to touch on too. You know, there are times in life where we have things happen that completely derail things. They turn everything upside down. And sometimes that's God's way of changing the deck for you. Sometimes God uses complications to change the deck for you.
Mhm.
Um, because sometimes it takes those things. Sometimes it takes a mountain. Sometimes it takes a problem to take us out of that routine. It could be as simple as losing a job.
Mhm.
And we're looking at it like, man, like, why am I going through this? Well, you were just complaining the other day that you hated this place. You know, it goes back to that whole thing. Like, you pray for patience, and what God gonna do? Send you the most annoying person on earth. You know, you can't sit here and say, God, you know, and I'm talking from experience, man. I worked at my job and and I worked, in healthcare, man. Sat there at my desk, you know, good paying job. It was like, oh, so many mornings I sat on the edge of my bed. It was like, man, I just want to call out today. But you know what? We need the money. So I'm gonna
Gotta
get
go.
up. I'm gonna get up and walk up them stairs. and go put my headset on and go to work. And I forced it. I forced it. I forced it. And I remember being so frustrated, telling wifey, something's got to change. Like,
Hmm.
I can't keep doing this. Like, I'm tired of this. And she was like, well, just hang in there. Maybe you need some time off. And I was like, maybe I need a vacation. Maybe that's what it is, because maybe I've been working too much. And honestly, it took layoff. And I heard and I was praying. I said, Lord, you gotta make a way. Next thing you know, I get that email. Said, hey, as of such and such today, you'll no longer be working here. Here's your package, your severance package, and you know, good luck to
Hmm.
all your endeavors. This isn't the final goodbye. If there's anything open, you can always come back. But
I always say
right,
that.
what do they say? You ain't got to go, but you got to leave.
You gotta get you gotta get up out of here.
You know what I mean? So, but I'm saying that to say this is that once the first 3 days I was off and I woke up, didn't have to go to work. First thing I did is I said, well, I've always complained that I couldn't work out because of my work hours. So I'm gonna go in the garage and I'm gonna go clang and bang for a little bit. Man, let me tell you something. That it felt so good. I got my garage door open. I'm listening. Got my music playing, and I'm in there putting in work in the gym. And
Yeah.
I'm seeing cars roll by, people walking by, walking their dog, waving. Oh, hi, good morning. And I'm like, and I sat down on my workout bench and just shed a tear. And I just cried and I said, this is beautiful, man. Like,
Wow.
wifey came in the garage, like, are you okay? And I'm like, yeah, I'm good. And she was like, don't worry, baby, everything's gonna get better. And I'm like, that's not it.
You was
I'm
at
at
peace.
peace.
I knew it. I knew it. You was at peace. I called it. You was at peace.
I'm at peace. I'm like,
Yep.
babe, I'm not on that wheel no more. I'm not on that cycle no more. Like, I feel like a brand new man.
Wow.
Like, I'm at peace. I'm like, this is beautiful. Look outside. Look at the cars. Like, are you okay? I'm like, yeah, I'm good, baby. Like, look at the cars. Look at the people. Like, look at me. I'm working out. Look how long I've been saying I've been wanting to work out. I'm working out. I'm doing it. Like, it's just, man, I've never felt this in all my life. And that right there let me know, God, this is you making moves for me. This is you answering my prayer. And that is the reason why I'm telling you today that you might have a circumstance come up in your life that you might feel is the worst thing that could ever happen, or this derails all your plans, or oh my God, why did this have to happen? But you
Hmm.
never know sometime how God works and how he answers prayers. So be careful what you pray for. If you're praying and you're saying, Lord, you got to get me out this place, you might want to be specific. Tell him, bring me, I want to work at this place instead, because you never know. You might go into work the next day and they just said, hey man, we gotta lay you off. And then you're gonna be going home like, what in the world just happened?
Hmm.
So, don't do what I did, but definitely tell him, say, God, get me out of here. But there's a place down the street that's hiring. I want to work there.
Right.
you know. But nah, seriously though. But he uses it's really interesting how God can work in our lives. And it says that his ways are not our ways. Our thoughts are not his thoughts. And it's really interesting to see how he works. And sometimes what we think is tragedy in our lives, God uses as a stepping stone to elevate us.
Hmm.
Because even though that was 7 months ago, I feel like I'm a way different person now than I was in January of this year. I feel different. So that just comes to show you that if you're in that cycle, yes, you can change. There just has to be a will, and you have to be willing that when the wheels of change come, you got to commit to it and work with it. You got
Mhm.
to embrace it. Do not run away and cower, because you know what? It would have been real easy for me to say, let me just go ahead and get this one job here because it pays the same thing. But I said, you know what? This is a different type of piece. I said, you know what I need to do? I said, I'm gonna take this season. I said, I believe God wants me to pour into me this season. I'm gonna pour into me. I'm gonna make myself better. And when I jump back on that market, it's gonna be something serious. It's gonna be,
Yep.
I'm gonna be way better than I was before. And sometimes we gotta do that. You gotta but you gotta be willing, like I said last week, and again, I'm gonna sound like Rocky, you gotta be willing to take the hits. Got to be
Yep.
willing to take the hits, because life is like a boxing fight. It's a good. Paul said it was a good fight. My man wrote and he said, "I fought the good fight." That
Mhm.
ain't that ain't that ain't nothing weak. That ain't nothing soft. That means that man said, "I fought the good fight." Life is a fight. There ain't no easy way out. You can't duck the giants in your life. Eventually, you're gonna have to take them out and stand toe to toe with them.
That is so true. That sounds like a man who knows his worth, and I think the best feeling is getting to a place in your life where you call the shots in an interview. And what I mean by that
Ooh,
is not taking a job because you have to take a job because bills is
oof,
piling up, but being able to, because it always feels one-sided when you go into
yeah,
an interview. You
it's
always
true.
feel like you're trying to get the job. And when they ask you, "Well, you got any questions?" You be like, "I'm not about to say nothing to mess this up. I ain't got nothing to talk about. Y'all want to hire me?" Versus, "Well,
Yeah,
what about this? What about that? What about," like, ask those questions, but that's a person who's confident
definitely.
and knowing that they're an asset to that company and not, "Oh, I just need this job, so I'm willing to take whatever." You know, they offering you XYZ and you're like, "Okay, I'll take it." You're not even going to negotiate it. Even if they lowball you, you just going to take it because you feel like, "Well, I'm just thankful to have the job."
Nah,
So just getting to a place where you can know your own worth, it felt great. And that's one of the things I felt, when I got my current position, was being able to renegotiate if I felt like it was, a little off or I wanted more or, experience or whatever like
that's a
that. So,
blessing.
and then also being able to say, well, I don't have to take this. You know what I mean? Like, not a lot of people are in that position where
Ooh,
you can walk
that's
away
a
and
form of
say,
peace
you
too.
know what? I'm good. Yeah, that's some true peace. I can literally, no, I'm good. I'm gonna continue my options. You know what I mean? Like
Oof.
that's a great level to be
Then they
at.
call you back and be like, "Hey, we were thinking about you, and we decided to give you extend a different offer to you."
Hmm.
And then you say no, and then they call you back again and be like, "Hey, all right, so this is our final offer."
This is what I can do. This is the max we can do. And I
That
called the other one. Can y'all do this? No? Okay. I'll see you on Monday. that's
that's man, that's special, bro. That
a
is
that's a
that
that's a
is,
true
and
level
that,
of
but that's
peace.
a blessing. That's a blessing, and
Yeah.
that's from hard work though. That
Yes.
doesn't come overnight. That's hard work, and you know what? I think we're scared of putting in work because it equates to time. And when people look at it too, they're afraid. They're like, "Oh man, if I start school now, man, that's 2027. Like, good lord,
Just
like,
start.
you
Just
know,
start.
like, that's a long time, man. Like 2027, like, shoot, let me just go ahead and just try to apply for this job here. It's $5 more, and I'll be good with that. We settle. We're not willing to take the bumps and say, you know what, let me invest in me, and
Stop
let me invest
shortchanging.
time,
Yep.
and that's shortchanging. And when we look at it, what's funny about that is, in that same regard, we can say, "Nah, I ain't trying to do that, man. It's gonna take me 2 years. I ain't got 2 years to graduate." But then you can sit with a company and one day and wake up and say, "Dang, I've been here 10 years.
Hmm.
What in the heck?
So you
I've
know what
been here
I
10 years.
you know what I
That's
tell people when they
that's a
do that?
master's."
Yeah, exactly.
You could
So
have been a doctor with that kind of time.
you say 2 years, 2027, for a $3 to $5 increase. But by that time, the economy had already went back up on you. So you done went and got it. You done went and got in debt for
Yep,
$3 to $5 extra an hour.
yep,
And
yep.
what I try to tell people, when you're looking for a career, there should be a number in your head. If it's not passion based, if it's just about numbers, there should be a number in your head to say, okay, I need to make this amount of money because I want to live this type of lifestyle. And that's like, if you want to drive a Porsche versus a Toyota Corolla, you're gonna need Porsche money. If you want to be in this zip code versus this zip code, you're gonna need this type of money. So it's
That's
like,
right.
don't go for well, I'm gonna go get this associates real quick. That's gonna give you about a $3 increase at the company that you're working
Yep,
for. Just go shoot for the stars and make the money that you have to make
that's it.
that equates to the lifestyle that you want. That way, when you get out, you're not going from making $20 an hour, to $23 an hour. Now you're going from $20 an hour to $53 an hour, and you actually making some good money.
Awesome.
But a lot of people don't do that. They shortchange themselves and make these little
Hmm.
small increment steps in their career. And then
Hmm.
what happened? You're back in the job market looking for another job.
Yep.
Oh, this job ain't paying enough. You knew that when you signed up for the
You
job.
stayed 2 years putting in work, only for the state to pass in Congress that they up the minimum wage to
Minimum wage
$2.
and went
So
up
now everybody that you worked hard to be above is on the same
is
pay
on the
scale
same
as
level
you.
as you. And them
So
eggs
now
still
you got to
$8.
work harder again. Nah, come
And
on, man.
inflation didn't happen. So now you ain't your
Jesus.
raise don't feel like a raise no more.
Nope.
So yeah. This is good, man.
This is. This is, man. I think we really tackled a lot with it, especially when it comes to just your purpose, seizing the day, and just really being proactive. I think what it comes down to is really want to be proactive and
Yeah.
just seize just what the title says, man. Seize the day, man. Listen, I got a slogan. Listen, go after all your giants, bro. Don't leave none of them standing. Go after every single one of them
Yep.
and slay them. Slay your giants, bro.
Yep.
Even if, and check this out. Check this out. And when I'm saying giants, you might be confused, but a giant could be you wanting to lose weight. It could be you going to school. It could be you having a better life for your family. You know what I mean? These are all giants that exist in our lives. Amen. God gave, just like how God gave David the stones to take out Goliath, he gave you the stones to take out these giants. So use them. Use them. Don't leave them. Use them. So, but yeah, man, it's been a great show. X, what's your final word for the people?
Final word for everybody out there. Like I said earlier, if you are in a situation that you're not comfortable in, change the situation. If you're at a job, if you have a spouse, or if you have income issues, if you have weight issues, whatever it is that you're going through in your life, you have the ability to change that. Nobody else does but you. You can
Mhm.
wake up one day and say, you know what? I'm done. I'm tired of this, and I'm going to change something about this. If you get up every single day and you go to that
That's
job
right.
and you're not happy about that job, change your situation, change your job. If you roll over and you you're not getting happiness from the relationship you're in, change that situation. This is a all of the above situation. We can pin it on one thing, whether it's a job or this or that. I'm talking about anything across the board that you are uncomfortable with in your life. I want to let you know that you can change that. You have the power to change that. But please do not feel like you have all the time in the world to change that, because why not today? You've been talking about it for years, but you've never changed anything in your life. Why not today? I woke up one day and I said, you know what? I'm tired of this. I want something better for myself. And I went and did it. Am I where I want to be? Not yet, but it's coming. I'm working towards that. But I would challenge you. Are you closer to your dreams now than you were 5 years ago?
Amen. Amen to that. I like it. I like it. I love it. I love it.
That's what I got to say.
Man, let me tell you, man. Shoot, man. For me, um, listen, I honestly, hey, look, people, young people, old, whatever. It's never too late to seize a day. It's never too day. It's never too day. It's never too late to make the best. Don't do that.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
It's
We'll
like
put this in the bloopers. It's never today, okay? Do
no.
your thing, Nate.
Um, wow. No, we'll leave this in here. This is good though. We'll leave it in here.
All right,
Um,
cool.
it's never too late
Yes, sir.
to seize the day to go after the things that you want in life. But just like X said, look yourself in the mirror, have a long look in the mirror, and ask yourself, what's your passion? What's your purpose? It doesn't matter whether it's cooking or whether it's being an athlete. There's several, or being a musician. Let me tell you something. Success doesn't always have to be in the limelight, too. You know, let me tell you something. I wanted to be the hip hop artist for so long. I wanted to be a rapper. Yeah, for a little bit, not a lot, but for a little bit. I'll say this, right? And did I do it? No. I found out in hindsight it just wasn't for me. Um, but I tell you what though, it's cool that I can pull up Amazon and I can pull up my album on there. It's cool that I can go to Google Music and it's on there. And my album is there. It's cool that my album is on YouTube. And I can
Mhm.
look back and I can say, man, I I wasn't famous, but it's cool to be like, yo, I accomplished something. I
Mhm.
actually have a published song, a published music, published music on, you know, I'm official. I'm officially an artist. Whether you want to believe it or not, I'm official. This ain't no, VHS tapes or nothing in the basement. I'm official. It is on all streaming platforms. To me, that's a big feat. I tried something new that I never did before. I took a risk. I
Mhm.
did it. I stayed with it. I was committed to it. And I didn't go where I want to be, but one day I'll be able to look at my son and my son be like, Dad, you made music? You raps? And I'll be like, yeah. Here, let me show you our album that we did.
Yep.
You know, hey, I'm in the process of writing too. Maybe one day I'll be able to say, yeah, do you know I wrote a book too?
Okay, okay.
I don't gotta be number one's bestseller, but you know what? It's perspective. It feels good knowing that I had dreams and I can check them off the list and said, yeah, I did that.
Mhm.
You know what? I didn't make it to the pros, but I did try out with Orlando Magic. One day I would like to say that. I mean, I'm probably too old now, but no, we're not going to say that. Hey, who knows? Maybe, if I work hard, maybe 2 years, if I really want to, I could do that. I could try out to be on the team. But even if they didn't pick me up, I would still be able to say how many of my friends were able to go try out. How
Mhm.
many how many people do I know they can actually say you went and you tried out for a national basketball team?
Right.
And I think that when you have the perspective like that, I want to try everything. I want to do everything. And win or fail, I did it. You're building number one yourself because you're learning different experiences and you're building your resume. When
Mhm.
people ask you, well, tell me a little bit about yourself. Well, I once tried out for Orlando Magic. Oh, I did this. I'm a musician. Oh, I am an author. I'm a this and I'm a that. People go, oh my God, geez,
Done a
when do
lot.
you sleep? And to me, that's far more better than a life of what if.
Yeah.
Waking up one day and saying, man, what if I wish I would have made up my mind to try to go to a tryout for this team. I wish I would have made up my mind and tried to open up that restaurant like I wanted to. Oh, hey, I wish I would have made up my mind and did this and did that. Life is too short for regrets, man. Seize the day. Whatever you can do it, and don't just do it, but know that God is with you, and that if He's with you and it's in His will, you can accomplish whatever you set your mind to.
Facts.
So that is my spiel on it.
I love it, man. Facts. Hey, this was great. I real quick, I just want to end with this. How do you feel when you pay off a debt? You feel good, right?
Ooh, brand new.
When you go to your wife and you like, pay that $5,000 credit card. It's off the books. We paid it off. Debt cleared. You feel good. That should be the same feeling you have with goals in your life.
Yes.
Goals and debt. When you check both of them off, you feel the same type of feeling. You feel good. I just wanted to just say that, man.
Nah,
I
that's a
was just
perfect
thinking
way to
about it. And I'm
end.
like, goals and debt. When you pay off your debt, it feels so good. That's how you want to live life. When you look at the end of your life and you're like, I paid off all my debt. I checked off all my goals. And you can look back and say, I did this, I did that, I did that. I think that's true happiness.
Amen. I'm with you on that. Well, ladies and gentlemen, it's been a great show. We are Decoding the Static podcast. And in case you didn't know what that meant, because I don't think we've ever told you, oftentimes in life, there is that static. Static is also known as those noise, whether it's from society, culture, that gets in the way and can be blocks in our minds from helping us to make better decisions and move forward.
Mm-hmm.
We call it the static. So that's why we're decoding it for you. So that way you don't have to. So seize the day. We've officially decoded it and we're out. Till next time, ladies and gentlemen.
Till next time.